Fireball! Welcome to Celebrity Sandwich with me, Alice Zaslavsky, otherwise known as Alice in Frames. And I'm going to cook you up an every kind of onion toastie. Shall we get started? I think we should. The every kind of onion toastie was born because, to me, dishes start with onion and end with cheese. So why not whack it all together into one of my favourite ways to eat a sandwich, toasted. Melbourne is so famous for its cheese toasties. There are quite a number of cheese toasties that people write up as the best. To me, my favourite cheese toastie is at Paran Market at Maker and Munger. And so this is kind of like my homage to Anthony Femia's cheese toastie, with a bit of an Alice in Frames twist. The thing about a toastie that really makes it sing are the cheeses that you choose. In this case, I've chosen 3 different types of cheeses, but if you don't have access to 3 different types of cheeses, if you don't want to use 3 different types of cheeses, all you need to think is that you need one sharp, bitey flavour and one gooey, melty texture. For me, the sharp bitey is a cheddar, and then I've got Gruyere and a Victorian raclette as my melty, gooey unctuousness in the toastie. As far as the onion component, the reason it's called the every kind of onion is because use what you've got. That's my best advice to you. We are in a time where we can't always head out to find exactly the right ingredient. So this is kind of like a sub in, sub out, whatever you need, if you need. In this case, I'm using a teeny tiny Spanish onion, so tiny. And my secret ingredient, onion jam, which you can just buy at the supermarket. If you don't have onion jam in your pantry, I'm here to show you why you should have it. The other secret ingredient to this is Kewpie mayonnaise, or Japanese mayo. But Kewpie is an all-rounder. Yumtown, I'm salivating just thinking about it. One thing when it comes to sandwiches is that the bread matters. In the case of a toastie, you actually want to use old bread. So I've got some stale brasserie bread, high tin sourdough loaf. And the final thing is butter. Butter makes everything better. That is all. I'm using a Victorian butter, St. David's. Seek out your favourite butter. It does make a difference to the flavour. That makes me happy. And now, magically, there's not going to be a whole bunch of paper and a whole bunch of ingredients in front of me. The next thing you're going to need is a grater. This is probably the one that I use the most when I'm working with cheese. Now I'm just going to coarsely grate all of these cheeses. Step 1. But I got to tell you, when I was at school, my parents would take me to the supermarket with them and just let me pick what I would take to school for lunch. And when people asked me why I didn't have sandwiches, I would say that I was allergic to bread. Then one day I really wanted to try Lauren's sandwich. And I said to her, can I try some of your sandwich? And she said, I thought you were allergic to bread. And I said, only square bread. Only square bread. It was triangular sandwiches. I'll never forget it. I think that's like very on brand for me, actually. I'm always looking for loopholes and reasons that I can eat something. I've eaten a lot of cheese in my day, in my time. And I can say categorically that Victoria has an inordinate amount of fantastic cheesemakers. Click for Vic has a really good resource there where you can find a whole bunch of different online suppliers of all these various cheeses. So if you don't even want to venture to the shops, you can still make this toastie. Cheese is done. The next step is to prep your onion. Now, depending on what kind of onion you have, if it's chives or spring onion, you just want to finely slice it. But if you've got a brown, white, or red onion, then you want to dice it. So when you're dicing an onion, the most important thing to remember is that you want to hold onto the root for as long as possible. That is where a lot of those volatile compounds that are super stinky and make you want to cry come out of. So the longer that this stays on, the longer it stays together, it's easier for you to grip and you don't cry as much. I reckon that's pretty good. Then you just pop your onion in there, mix it together with the cheese, and add in your ground pepper. And the ground pepper is the kind of pops of bite, I suppose. I'm using white pepper, which is a chefy kind of favourite. If you don't have white, you can definitely use cracked black pepper. Cool. Cheese is mixed, let's butter up our bread. So the key, if you have a jaffle maker or like a cheese toasty machine, then lucky you, use it. If you don't, you can use a frying pan, which I've had heating up for this whole time, so it needs to be super hot. And just use some baking paper as your kind of go-between. So pop your bread there, and then we're gonna squirt the Kewpie on the outside and butter the inside. So nice soft butter, go heavy on this. In terms of how much we make sandwiches at home, I would have to say that we make them less than I would like. Nick is mildly gluten-free, so he's very selective with how often we have bread in the house, which is why what I do is I load up on really good bread. My favourite bakery in Melbourne is Baker Blur, and then I slice it and I put it in the freezer, and that way I can just toast it up whenever I want. If you are in Nick's camp, and if you too are gluten intolerant, there is a fantastic Victorian bakery called Strata. They do incredible gluten-free bread. Their high tin loaf would be a perfect swap, and I'm pretty sure you can find them online. So this is good. Now let's pop a bit of that caramelized onion jam on top as well. The magic. So see how I've like really endeavored to get every little bit of this bread buttered and or onioned? That's important. Commit. If you're gonna do this, do it properly. There we go. At the moment, this is just like buttered bread and onion jam, which, hey, if that floats your boat, then you do you. But what I'm gonna do is pop the Kewpie on the outside, smush that down. You won't be able to see this. Once it's toasted, it's just kind of gonna create like a nice golden crust on the outside. Now, the Kewpie is on. You can use any kind of mayo, any kind of butter. You're just basically trying to create some caramelization or spark the Maillard reaction on the outside. Now you're gonna open it up and you're gonna pop as much cheese as bread thickness. So are we ready to go on that? Really load it up. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And you ready to put the lid on? Check this out. You can use your baking paper if you're worried about getting Kewpie on yourself, just like that. That is a good looking toastie. That looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. And it's about to go into the pan. Now the key when you put it into the pan is that you want to create some weight on top. You can use a mortar if you've got a frying pan and some flour in a paper bag, that would be great. Just something heavy on top of this toastie to weigh it down is all that you need. And then it's about 3 minutes on one side and then about 2 or 3 minutes on the other. And that is it. You've toasted it up. It's glassy AF. I'm just gonna pop a sprinkle of salt flakes on top from a height. Slice it up, Bob's your uncle. All together, the sum of its parts. Make this toastie the real celebrity. Sliced. Butter. Beige. Diagonal. On. Crunchy. Jam. Hard. DLT. Reuben. Croque Monsieur. Ooh, egg salad. Retro. Chicken, oh, katsu. Sandwiches. So there you have it. My every kind of onion cheese toastie. If you're gonna try this at home, my top tips are make sure that you get some really good melty cheese and some good bitey cheese. I've used cheddar, raclette and Gruyere, but you could use Tasty and go to the supermarket and find their block Gruyere and block raclette. Use day-old bread if you can, and pick your onion based on how much you like onion. If you want a milder flavor, Spanish onion or white onion is your friend. If you want something stronger, brown, chive, or spring onion is where you live. But most importantly, weigh that bread down in the pan. If you don't have a fancy weight, just use a frying pan and something heavy from your kitchen. Clearly, I am enjoying my celebrity sandwich already, but if you want to enjoy your very own celebrity sandwich, whether that be my every kind of onion cheese toastie or one of the other people involved in this Victoria Together initiative, check out the website for this recipe and more. Now get out of here so I can enjoy my lunch.